morning, everybody. I hope you all had a good time yesterday. So we are continuing today. Maybe a few words on the European Union. I think without any doubt, the European Union over the last 20 years, even though we sometimes think differently, has had some major successes. We enlarged from 12 to 28, maybe shortly 27. We moved Western institutions 1,000 kilometers to the east. We went through dramatic treaty changes every 6-7 years, which cumulatively, after 25 years, really have established a very, very different European Union. We established the euro, which, with all difficulties, nevertheless, is the second reserve currency around the world. But still, one can have the impression that after 25 years of positive development, nevertheless, we can't take for granted that existing trends will simply continue. And when we look back in history, one could have the impression that there is a major change once every generation. 1991, collapse of the Soviet Union was definitely one. 1968 as well, maybe more for cultural issues in the West, but let's not forget 1968 was also an important date for the East, with the attempts in the Czech Republic to democratize the system being suppressed violently, which meant further decades under that suppressive system. And another generation before 1945 was definitely a turning point, in 1918 as well. So we always live in the expectation that things simply continue. But historical experience shows that it's not the case, that every generation, every roughly 25 years, things take a distinctively different turn. And the current situation in the European Union, I think, is a very strong indication that we are living again through such a moment, but we cannot really describe it properly. We know that things have been turning more difficult. If we look around us in the East, Russia for a very long time has tolerated Western institutions moving east. At the latest, with the intervention in Ukraine, that period is over. If we look to the southern Mediterranean, we see a whole area in turmoil, and the effects of this are hitting us hard in the forms of terrorism or uncontrolled mass immigration. If we look to the West, we see the United States, which have been guaranteeing a free and open global order after 1945, having a president which was elected on America first, and are putting global agreements into question. And if we are looking north, we are having Brexit. So insecurity is imported into the European Union largely from the outside. And that's a major challenge, because it's now raising the question, can the European Union protect? Can we guarantee safe borders? Can we support effective action in security and defense? Can we fight terrorism? Can we also protect against unfair trading practices? But to take up this challenge, it means that the European Union needs to change its business model. We need to move from legislative machine and provide also some complementary executive capacity complementing the efforts of the member states. So we are in a period of massive change, and I hope that this discussion, this conference, will contribute to help us finding the answers. Thank you very much.
So, good morning. Just very briefly from me, first of all, thank you, Klaus, for the excellent remarks, and delighted to be here on the second day of the 2017 ESPAS annual conference. I just, rather than remarks, I wanted to share with you what were two of my key takeaways from yesterday. Even though ostensibly the event is about geopolitics, it was very surprising to me how one issue dominated pretty much all the discussions, and it's around technology, and particularly digital technologies. That was very surprising to me. And I really didn't anticipate that. And I think it gives us sort of a reason to really reflect on what is happening here. I don't remember who said it yesterday, but one person was even talking about putting some of the large companies on the UN Security Council. That of course goes too far, but nonetheless it means that also this area now is being disrupted by technologies. It's not surprising, but nonetheless I thought it's something that I should mention. Secondly, on global governance, it was particularly in the discussion we had around security, very obvious to me that we are lacking the global institutions to deal with many of the threats that we are now encountering. And the global governance system simply is not set up to deal with it. And on top of that, you have some of the challenges that Klaus just spoke about. Of course, first and foremost, really the withdrawal of the United States from a lot of the multilateral, not withdrawal, but at least not the kind of engagement we used to have in the multilateral institutions. So it really gave me a lot to think about, I have to say. But I don't just want to talk about the content. I also want to talk about what is underpinning all of our discussions, which is really about how to create a culture of preparedness and how challenging that is. And I learned so much from the many contributors yesterday, and I'm sure I will learn a lot today. But this culture of preparedness is really our job. I mean, this is what we have to do. And it's personally, for me, very rewarding to see the ESPAS network grow and also internationalize. I think at this ESPAS meeting, we have more international guests than we've ever had before. But I also want to say, we need to bring in some people who maybe are not experts in strategic foresight, who don't really think so much about the future, because without them, we ultimately won't be able to deliver the change that we are talking about in the culture of preparedness. So I just say that to perhaps give us a reason to think a little bit about it and see how we can enlarge the network, not just to include more people who do strategic foresight, but also to really mainstream it across our institutions. That's all I wanted to say, apart from that I'm very much looking forward to today. I think we had a very, very good beginning yesterday, and I have no doubt that it will continue today with the colleagues at the Parliament that I already commend for an excellent program, and that's all from me for now. Thank you so much.